So I've been genuinely really excited to make this video because it's not every day you get to get your hands on a Sony 300mm 2.8 G Master lens. Hey guys, welcome back to another video. My name's Ben Kapoor, and in this video we are talking about the Sony 300mm, I nearly didn't get my words out then, 300mm 2.8 G Master lens, and if I should buy one or not. Now, I've been using, where should we put it? I'm going to put it over here. Now, I've been using the 200 to 600mm f5.6 to 6.3 for about the last 18 months. I use it for all of my wildlife photography and videography, and I absolutely love this lens, and it has been an absolute staple in my bag for the last 18 months or so. So why am I thinking about upgrading the 200 to 600 to the 300mm 2.8 G Master lens? So firstly, this is not a review about this lens. I've just been super fortunate to be sent out one of these for 3 days to give it a go to see if I want to buy one, basically. If you want to borrow any lenses, there's a company called Lenses for Hire. You can hire out one of these lenses or any lens that you would like and try them out for yourself. And it's a really good way of testing out a lens like this before you go and drop thousands of pounds on a lens like this. So the first thing you'll notice when you pick up this lens is it's stupidly light. Like it's so light. It feels like it's half the weight of the 2 to 600 when it's in your hand. It's something like 1400 grams, and it's so well balanced. All the main elements and all the gubbins of the lens, if you like, is all at the back and all at the base. So when you've got it on a camera body, it just feels so light and nimble. You can just throw it around. You wouldn't want to throw it, obviously, but you can just throw it around really quickly, track birds, pan, tilt, do whatever you want. It's so light, and you can just fly around with it. And that's one of the first things I noticed when I got my hands on it. So moving on from the weight of this lens, or the lack of weight of this lens, the autofocus of the 300mm 2.8 is absolutely ridiculous. It's so fast and it's so silent, you can't hear anything. It locks on to a subject, and when it's locked on, it's not coming off. It's absolutely stuck on, and it's so fast. I've been tracking birds in flight at 30 FPS, firing off 30 FPS on my A7 IV, and it hasn't missed. It locks onto their eye and it just doesn't miss. It enables me to be able to get these incredible shots of these birds in flight that I'd have never ever been able to get before. And it's just down to the speed of this autofocus. It's so much quicker than the 200 to 600. There has been times in the field where I've had the 200 to 600 on, and it's just not quite got all of the frames. Like, it does miss every now and again. It's not as quick, and being a zoom lens, there's obviously a lot more going on inside this lens than the 300mm 2.8, so it's kind of understandable. And being 3 times the price of this lens, that's sort of what you're paying for. Another thing you're paying for is image quality. Being one of Sony's top 3 primes, the image quality is ridiculous. I'm going to keep saying that. It is so sharp, like is ridiculously sharp. I said it again. Like, people talk about this lens being sharp, but until you actually see it for yourself and you see it on your camera and you see it on your computer screen, it's so sharp, and that allows you to crop even more if you want to. Once it's got hold of something's eye, this lens is so sharp, it enables you to be able to crop more. So I recently upgraded my A7 IV to the A7 Mark V. I also have the A7R5, which is 61 megapixels, but it only shoots at 10 frames per second, the R5 does. This one shoots at 30 frames per second, but it has a 33 megapixel sensor. Now, you're probably thinking 33 megapixels is not enough to crop. Pairing it with this lens, with a 2x teleconverter, giving you 600mm f5.6, this is more than enough megapixels to crop right down on some images, and you still have so much detail. So moving on to bokeh and depth of field. Now, being a 300mm f2.8, you get beautiful bokeh at f2.8. You get that prime look, you get the big bokeh balls in the background, you get that huge depth of field where it just blows out the background into a beautiful creamy bokeh. Your subject is isolated, it stands out, and that's what 2.8 can give you. This is why the 400mm and the 600 f4 are so much more money, because it just gives you that optically further distance, but that super wide open aperture to give you that depth of field. And this is where this lens sits perfectly in the top 3 primes for Sony. So one of the biggest reasons I wanted to get hold of this lens and try it out for myself is I wanted to try it with teleconverters. I wanted to try it with the 1.4 and I also wanted to try it with the 2x teleconverter. Now, Sony's teleconverters are incredible. There is no image loss and no autofocus loss, I can tell, by using the 2x teleconverter. And that was one of the big things I wanted to try out and test to make sure before I invested in this lens that that was the case. And I can definitely clarify that using the 2x teleconverter all week this week with this lens, I can't notice any difference in image quality or autofocus speeds with the 2x teleconverter on or off. So for those of you wondering, teleconverters change this lens. They change its properties, they change its focal length and its apertures. So if I was to put a 1.4 teleconverter on this 300mm 2.8 G Master lens, it would give me 420mm f4. And if I was to put the 2x teleconverter on this lens, it would give me a 600mm f5.6. Now for me, 600mm f5.6 is amazing. With the image quality of this lens at 600mm 5.6, that's incredible. For the price that you pay for this setup with this, it's a third of the price of the 600mm f4. So one of the biggest things I wanted to test out was, is that enough? Like, is 600 f5.6 enough? Because sometimes you want more, and quite often you do want more, especially if you're photographing things in the wild, like barn owls and short-eared owls and stuff like that, that are silly far away sometimes. Sometimes 600mm is not quite enough. And this is where the 400mm 2.8 with a teleconverter or the 600mm f4 with a teleconverter come into a world of their own, because they give you that extra distance if you want it. But if you're filming and photographing things that are that far away, there are other things to start taking into consideration, like heat haze and image loss at those massive distances. So for me, I would rather have a portable small prime lens that I can have 600mm f5.6 if I wanted to, and be able to crop, but more importantly, work on my fieldcraft in order to get closer to these subjects, to these animals. So moving on to build and feel. This lens is as you'd expect. It feels incredible. It feels like it should be one of Sony's best lenses, and it really is. When you pick it up, it is light, as I've said, but it feels incredible. Everything feels good. It feels premium. It's also weather sealed, as you'd expect, and I think I already touched on it, but all the weight and all the gubbins is all at the back of the lens, so it's super well balanced when it's on a camera body. So I've had the opportunity to purchase a 600mm f4 if I wanted to. It's used, but I really wanted to get my hands on this lens to not kind of push me away from that, but to open up another avenue to see if it was the right decision. The 600mm f4 is a very specific lens. It is the peak. It is Sony's best lens. It really is incredible, but it's very specific and it's also massive. It's not very heavy for what it is. It's super well balanced. All the weight of the 600mm f4 is all in the back of the lens, just like this one. And when it's on a camera body, it doesn't feel off balanced. It feels great. It feels nimble, albeit it's massive. It feels nimble. It feels like you can throw it around and track things. But for me personally, it's just that bit too big. It's massive. It's so big. And for me, not only do you have to think about the size of it, the value of it, where you're going to store it, is it safe, and all this sorts of stuff, you have to think about a different bag for it to go in. Can I fly with it? I like to do a lot of trips abroad. Can I fly with it? Can I use it abroad? Is it safe again? Because it's so much money. And for me, that wasn't really something I wanted to worry about. This is an expensive lens, don't get me wrong, but it's the size of a 70-200. In fact, I've got my 70-200 here. So the size difference is like 2.5 inches or so. Weight-wise, I'd say it's more or less the same. The 300 may be a little bit heavier, just a little bit, but it's remarkable how this is one of Sony's best lenses, and it's the same as a 70-200 more or less. So the 600mm was a nice idea, and I absolutely love one, don't get me wrong, but I think it was just a little bit out of range for me in terms of price, practicality and usability. The image quality is incredible, don't get me wrong, it is the best. But I think this one comes in a close second, especially with the 2x teleconverter. f5.6 at 600mm is more than enough for me. So who is this lens for? It's not a casual purchase. I mean, if you've got loads of money, it might be. I don't have loads of money. It's definitely not a casual purchase for me. It's a serious investment, and it's an upgrade from the 200 to 600, and that's the most important thing for me. If you're a dedicated wildlife photographer, you shoot sports, you shoot action, indoor sports, trackside stuff, automotive work, if you shoot a lot of different things where this lens will come in handy like I do, then this lens is definitely the lens for you, and is definitely an upgrade from the 200 to 600. Don't get me wrong, this lens is awesome. The 200 to 600mm lens is incredible. It's probably one of Sony's most popular lenses. In fact, I know loads of people who have this lens. The 200 to 600mm focal length is so usable in so many different applications. It is a big lens. It is considerably heavier than the 300, and optically the 300mm for me just does that next thing. It's just that next step better, so that's why I'm upgrading. So if you're a wildlife photographer or filmmaker, or if you shoot any of the sort of things I shoot, I'd genuinely love to know, would you choose the 300mm 2.8? Would you stick with the 200 to 600mm f5.6 to 6.3? Or if you had the money, would you upgrade to the 600mm f4? Let me know down in the comments if you found this video insightful, helpful, or if you just like looking at the nice photos and videos I've managed to capture with the 300mm 2.8. Give us a like, give us a comment, I'd love to know what you think, and subscribe to my channel if you haven't done already, and I will see you guys in the next one.